All right, welcome back to the Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Trevi Hammond, and that was Nana Oporiata featuring the Oasis Collective, and they call this one the Afro Medley. All right, 40 minutes after 9, and my guest is ready, and we get into our conversation for today. Now, like I told you earlier, there's been a lot of discussion around GoldBOD, the Bank of Ghana, and the reported 22 billion Ghana cedis loss associated with the domestic gold purchase program. But beyond the headlines and the political discussion around GoldBOD, the Bank of Ghana beyond the headlines and the political arguments, is actually a more fundamental question: that are we judging a strategic economic program purely by its own accounting or by its accounting numbers? And if an institution is created not only to make money but also to strengthen Ghana's reserves, mobilize foreign exchange, and support broader economic objectives, how should we measure its success? And that's a conversation this morning. GoldBOD and BoG losses. Are we misjudging a strategic agency with accounting numbers? And before I put the questions to my guest, let me give you a little context so that we can all be on the same page or start from the same place. Now, in recent days, there has been a considerable debate over a 22 billion Ghana cedis loss reported in connection with the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program, or DGPP, for 2025. Now, that headline needs a little unpacking. Now, the domestic gold purchase program was introduced as part of our broader effort to, purchase gold domestically, build a country's gold reserves, and importantly, strengthen foreign exchange liquidity. And the program became particularly significant as we were looking for ways to, reduce our vulnerability as a country to foreign exchange pressures and also our dependence on traditional reserve assets. And GoldBOD subsequently became a central institution in our gold purchasing and trading architecture. But here's where the current debate begins. Now, the 22 billion Ghana cedis figure is being associated with the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program, while GoldBOD has pushed back against the suggestion that, this means GoldBOD itself made a 22 billion Ghana cedis loss. And GoldBOD has argued that during the period in question, it was essentially acting as a purchasing agent for the Bank of Ghana, and that the reported loss should therefore not be interpreted as a loss on GoldBOD's own account. And there's another important distinction: that GoldBOD's own 2025 financial statements reported a surplus, which is why saying that they lost 22 billion Ghana cedis risks collapsing, two different things into one headline. And this is where the conversation becomes more interesting. Even if the loss technically belongs to the Bank of Ghana's program rather than GoldBOD's own account, it is still a loss associated with a public sector economic intervention. So the question cannot simply be, did GoldBOD lose 22 billion Ghana cedis? We have to ask, what generated the loss? Was it an unavoidable cost of pursuing a strategic economic objective? What did Ghana gain from the program in return? And perhaps the biggest question of all is that, can we judge a strategic economic intervention purely by its profit and loss statements? Because imagine, for example, that a government program incurs a financial cost, but in the process helps build reserves, mobilize foreign exchange, formalize an important sector, or achieve another national economic objective. Do we simply look at the financial loss and declare the program a failure, or should we measure both the financial cost and the wider economic value created? And at the same time, we have to be careful not to use the word strategic as a blanket excuse for, losing public money. If billions of cedis are involved, there must still be questions about pricing, about risk management, efficiency, transparency, and accountability. And so this morning, we're going to try to move beyond the political back and forth and actually understand the economics. What does the 22 billion Ghana cedis represent? Who actually incurred the loss? What did Ghana get in return? And ultimately, what is the right scorecard for judging GoldBOD and the domestic gold purchase program as a whole? My guest is John Che. He's a financial analyst, and he joins me over the phone line for this conversation. John, good morning. Hello, John. Hello, John. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, how are you doing, my brother?
Yes, I'm doing well. How are you too?
Yeah, I'm doing well too, by God's grace. Thanks so much for
Yes,
making time to join us this morning. Really grateful.
you're welcome.
All right. So let's begin this morning with the number. And
Hmm.
the number is, the amount that is actually involved, or what has been captured in the report, and what has actually captured everybody's attention, which is a
Hmm.
reported 22 billion Ghana cedis loss.
Hmm.
Now, when you hear that figure, what exactly should a financially literate person understand that to mean?
Yes, I think you know it is important to discuss. I mean, especially actions by the central bank. In context. Okay, because even their normal activities like trying to even stabilize inflation, mopping up, surplus cash in the system comes with a lot of, costs. So if you look at even in their 2022, 2024 financial statement, you realize that, with the desire to control inflation and the rest, they made serious losses, which I mean, our equity, BoG equity went to about negative 50 billion. Okay, so clearly, there are costs to, any action that the Bank of Ghana, takes to maybe stabilize the economy. Okay, and I think that's one thing that we need to really appreciate. Say so. 22 billion is a massive loss. I don't think we can downplay it, and the fact that we're already in negative equity position and we are continually making losses. Normally when it continues like that, and we get to a point where maybe Bank of Ghana would like to, overcome these losses, and that may even push them to make certain decisions that can hurt the overall economy. Okay, so the stability of the central bank is key. So always, we have to pay attention to, their reports and be sure that indeed the mandate that they have been given to always stabilize the economy, they have the capacity and the resources to do that. So, if we continue on this path, maybe last year 50 billion, this year 22, and last 2 years 50 billion negative equity, we have added about 22 billion. So when it continues like that, for now we may not see the impact, but as it continues and we continue to build losses, to get to a point where it will be very difficult for Bank of Ghana to continue their mandate. Okay, and you see the issue is that some of the things that they are doing to support the economy, it looks like for example, the GoldBOD purchase program. It looks more like a fiscal policy than monetary policy, because see, if you look at a typical central bank, their focus should always go on the monetary
Monetary
side.
policy, yeah.
Okay, so if they veer towards, the fiscal side too, also, because the point is that this GoldBOD purchase program is all about Bank of Ghana giving money to a government agency to buy gold on his behalf. In that case, you are undertaking a government, a fiscal operation that we expect government to do. And what happens is that the government, gets that freedom not to show this particular activity in
Yeah.
its books. I'm sure if, let's say, government was sponsoring GoldBOD and they have made these huge losses, you realize how impactful it will be. But now it looks like central bank is absorbing it, and that absorption doesn't come with free ripple effect. But for now, because maybe they have a lot of reserves and the rest, we may not see. What if crisis happen? What if gold prices crash? What if oil prices crash? And it becomes very difficult, to get enough reserves to, support the economy. That's where you will start feeling the loss. So those critics arguing that, Bank of Ghana is taking too much, and some of these things need to shift to, the fiscal side. I really support it. Okay, but I also understand the point that maybe GoldBOD just started, and it was important for maybe 2025 year to get the support from Bank of Ghana. I think government has made its intention clear to support the sharing of the loss, which is very crucial. And I think they are even trying to, raise bonds for Bank of Ghana so that, they will gradually be shifting these losses to government, the fiscal books. Okay, so I'm sure. My only problem is how you have situated the conversation around this. Some of these things, I normally think that it should be of a national conversation issue, and we find the best way to go about it. The moment that you want to blame, an agency, its managers, and that also leads to a lot of pushback,
right.
And then the whole narrative around it changes, and then we can't even find solutions to it.
Right.
Because the point is that if you look at the object of GoldBOD, it's not just even about selling gold. Value addition, they are supposed to regulate, small scale mining. But look at the small scale mining effect. Have they achieved that objective? Value addition, have you seen, even though we have the jewelry, which is, trying to kick off war, but have you seen massive improvement? I feel those are the areas that we need to question them. But to the point where we now want them to show their financial statement, where you look at their financial statement and clearly, whatever is being, when you see the financial statement, it's not really communicating anything, especially in terms of their objectives. Because the point is that if you are not, if you look at the object of GoldBOD, they were not instituted to be buying gold just for Bank of Ghana and getting fees out of it and government giving them money and then reporting that they are making surpluses. So we should clap for them. If we, lead the conversation to that angle, I think we are all making mistake. And at the end of the day, we will run away from the real object of GoldBOD, where we need to even ask more accountability questions in terms of, how their actions are reducing galamsey and all that. And then we move on to just profit or loss numbers. And the whole conversation becomes like defend, attack. And we'll be here 3 years, 4 years, we will get to the worst situation. So that has been my worry since this conversation started.
I see. Right. I think those are very good points. Just to help our listeners this morning, I want us to, look at certain things a bit more specific. But I like the general overview you've given. So the 22 billion, I want us to try to understand it. Once we understand it, then we can now move on to some other things. So if you look at it, is it a straightforward trading loss?
No. So you see, if you look at the majority of this loss is coming from balance sheet adjustment, right? So, for example, because GoldBOD buys this gold at forex rate, but when it comes to BoG books, it has to translate it into its official rate, and most often there's this gap between these two rates. So clearly. And you look at what happened in 2025 for the CD to appreciate from the beginning of the year around 15 to about 10. Then clearly, assuming you bought gold at 15 cedis and when you were selling during the year, or assume you are even holding it in your books as reserves, and the CD has appreciated to about 10.5 to 11. That is about 4 CDs, appreciation of your currency, which means that the value of your of the gold you hold as reserve so dramatically reduced. All right, so it is not really in fact about 70% of it is coming from accounting adjustment. Okay, and if Bank of Ghana even want to make big profit this year to turn the conversation, all that they have to do is to just let the CD depreciate. You get it? So that is why I'm saying that it would be wrong for us to push the conversation to profit or loss numbers, because the central bank has power. If they want to, maybe people are talking about it that they are making losses and a whole lot of things, and they want to turn the conversation around. All that they need to do is to just make sure the CD depreciates. Let's say back to 15. If it comes back to 15, you see all the losses that they have recorded will reverse. You get it? So So and even when we look at this, when we even sell gold, we sell it in dollars, not cedis. So it's just a translation mechanism. And as far as our financial statements are concerned, it's supposed to be prepared in Ghana cedis. So as far as the translation mechanism happens, by all means, once your cedi is appreciating, you are going to record, losses as a result of appreciation of the. Are we saying appreciation of the cedi is bad for us, especially we looking at how we are benefiting in terms of import and all that? Are we saying it's bad for us? So we should push them to depreciate the currency so that that conversation of loss making turn around, and at the end of the year they report big profits coming from gold operations. Are we asking Bank of Ghana to do that? Okay, and that's the very reason why I don't like that conversation of this accounting profit or losses. Conversation going on, because it's very easy for the central bank to just make the cedi depreciate and reverse the losses that you are complaining about and all that. And you see, my problem is that if we want gold to be making profit, all that they need to do is that once they buy gold, they will always wait. If the price is not favorable and maybe it's good for accumulation, but because price is not favorable, they will not buy. They will so like it will be treating them as purely a commercial entity. And every commercial entity will have profit motive. And once there's profit motive, it's more about this like strategizing to buy low and sell high. And if that happens, then what happens to the accumulation of reserves you want to achieve? And that's the very reason why I want us to more focus on the object of GoldBOD. The object of GoldBOD was not to make profit. It wasn't written in if you look at the act, the whole act from the beginning to the end, there is no place where we expected them to make profit. But the key thing is that we want them to be able to help us accumulate enough reserves. We want them to bring us the necessary foreign exchange to stabilize the cedi. And that is exactly what they are doing. You get it? So then the other issues of money fighting against illegal mining, value addition, where we are not even questioning them. A whole year has ended. We are not having a conversation on that. We are not seeing how the investment they are doing to increase value. We heard that they have increased their purchase of even gold from large scale mining from 2030. We are not making it a national conversation, and it's all about the losses. Every day you are watching television, everywhere everybody is talking about losses. That's why I'm saying that if we make the whole conversation about that, it's very easy to turn the losses into profit. If that is what we want Bank of Ghana to achieve, and I don't think we are going to suffer, because if they want to make profits and they allow the cedi to depreciate, and they are they don't accumulate the reserves when the price is high, and they always want to wait and make sure they buy low and sell high. Then at the end of the year, the whole economy, the cost of the economy, people don't understand. The cost of the economy is that if inflation goes up by, let's say, 30%, you look at how the whole general economy is going to suffer. And that is the inherent cost that we are forgetting. And instead of supporting, GoldBOD, and I'm not saying we shouldn't question their managerial decisions, their administrative procedures, and the rest. But you see, that's why I said, if you want to even question their administrative or their managerial decisions, we need to see how best maybe the asset fees and all that being charged. And that's why I don't even want GoldBOD to also come into the conversation with profit communication. And I think if they also do that, there's like we are missing the whole point. Okay, you get the point. So I think that's where we need to shift from to have a real conversation of now. You see, people don't understand how this GoldBOD operation that we created is helping the economy. Can you imagine from January to August, our cedi has not depreciated over 10%. That's a remarkable feat that we have achieved. And we have achieved all this because we have regularized our gold purchase, and we are making enough forex from our gold to show up the cedi. And that's what we need to celebrate and find a way to making it better. And that's to say, the last time I was telling you that certain things we need to make it bipartisan. It's not everything that we need to be partisan about it and fight on the streets, and we allow our radio waves to be moved by such conversation. And it's about the GoldBOD CEO defending profit or loss. If we do that. And as I said, if at the GoldBOD profit or loss, that it's not profit or loss, because you see, if you just buy, let me make it a practical for you to appreciate. If you buy gold and you are not selling, you can't say you are trading and making profits. No, you are just performing a duty for another government agency. So whatever happens within that chain is not a commercial profit that you are making. Are you getting? So you can't come out to say that I'm making surplus. No, you are not making surplus. You are, because you see, so when it comes to the whole central government and we are consolidating, that profit you are talking about will not come into the picture. In fact, at the end of the day, what will happen is that there will be a loss situation because maybe another government agency made a loss. So we need to shift conversation. And you see, normally we want to front that we are doing well operational. We have not gotten there yet. GoldBOD is just 1 year. We have not gotten to that profit stage. If they now control the export, they buy and export, and maybe at the end of the day, we see the volume of gold they have traded, and then that's where we can say that, yes, they are doing well. But as at now, I don't think it's even fair for GoldBOD to say that we are making surplus when the majority of the surplus is coming from government subsidy, which I feel it shouldn't have even been treated the way it was treated. All right, and the fees that you are charging another government agency, it cannot be treated as surplus to you, and you are very efficient and all that. No, that conversation cannot start now. If you have the whole mandate to now buy, sell, and at the end of the year, you show us your trading, you show us the reserves, you show us everything coming from that, then we can judge you rightly to say that you are doing well. But government cannot, and the Bank of Ghana cannot give you money. You just give the money out to somebody, the person buys gold for you, and you say you are efficient. I don't think that conversation is yet right for us to have.
Absolutely, I get it, but be as it may, a lot of people still want to know whether, of course, like you're saying, it's not a profit and loss conversation, but the IMF says a loss has been incurred in the whole process of from buying the gold to selling and all of that and everything, and people want to understand that does that particular loss go onto GoldBOD account or onto Bank of Ghana account? Maybe if you can see that briefly, then we can move on to other things.
Yes. So the issue is that Bank of Ghana engage in a quiz, we call something quasi-fiscal activities, which means that something that they were not supposed to do, but they did it on behalf of government.
Right.
So clearly, it's a government loss. You get it?
Yeah.
But you see, Bank of Ghana played that role maybe because in the first year, the fiscal side wasn't ready to support. So maybe they took that, role on to make sure, because at the end of the day, they also get enough reserves to be able to show up to play their stability, like the role of ensuring price stability and macroeconomic stability role. Maybe it was important at that point. That's why they took that, role. So from the IMF side, their concern is that we are allowing an independent institution. Central banks are expected to be independent so that for them, like, they can really take the right decisions no matter the government in power. When you allow Bank of Ghana to be too close to the fiscal side, it normally leads to printing of money and where we may not even see. And then they will be interfering, and just like what happened. What happened in 2022? It happened in that way that where central bank was even printing money to help the central government. So normally, if you allow the central bank to now come into the fiscal space to support in terms of giving money, buy gold and all that, what you are doing is that you are taking their independence. So you see the way now we are blaming GoldBOD losses on Bank of Ghana. That shouldn't have been the case. The case should have been blamed entirely on the fiscal side, the government side, the Ministry of Finance, that you decided to finance GoldBOD to buy gold. And this is the cost that you are incurring. Do you get? And that cost now becomes part of the deficit. And then we need to now have a way to finance the deficit. But when it comes to Bank of Ghana books, it becomes very difficult. Because, it's because we see central bank as very independent and from the fiscal side. We don't even add Bank of Ghana operations to the consolidated account. You get it? So it's like Bank of Ghana is performing action which is expected to be performed by Ministry of Finance and incur losses. And as a result, those losses cannot be recorded in central government book. But now the monetary side is taking the losses. And the whole concern of IMF is that if it continues that way, and they are making losses and all that, it makes it easy for government to interfere in the work of the central bank.
Yeah.
And when it happens that way, it erodes their independence, it erodes their credibility. Because we don't really trust government. Maybe now that they are doing well, it's possible to get to a point where they decide to spend. What happens to that? And maybe for political reason, maybe for election and all that, they lose their guard a bit. How do central, because now you were doing what they were supposed to do, it will be difficult to tame what the central bank, what the fiscal side is doing. And so the IMF is raising an issue where we should stop allowing Bank of Ghana to take over fiscal roles. Let's allow them to be independent, to play their stability, to give them solid ground to stabilize the economy when it's necessary. You get it? And that's where the conversation. So maybe the losses, as far as I am concerned, the losses should be a shared portfolio between the fiscal side and the monetary side. And I think they have already started that conversation. You see, GoldBOD will never, one thing we need to understand is that this loss cannot be recorded in GoldBOD books because even the capital to finance the gold purchase was not generated by GoldBOD. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
The money was coming from the central bank. So it's like the central bank gave me money. And he asked me to buy gold because I'm a regulator and I've been given the powers to buy gold and regulate it. I bought the gold and brought it to you. Now, your previous transactions, you charge, normally when you give a company to do that for you, they charge you fees. So I want to charge you the same fees and perform that role. I just bought the gold and brought it to you. As for how you use the gold, it's up to you. You get it? So in that conversation, you cannot blame GoldBOD for the losses. Are you getting it? Because all the functions they play at that time was to take your money, give it to people to get the gold, and bring the gold to you. Just that where we can also blame all of them together is because the decisions of GoldBOD in terms of the rate they bought the gold also translated into the losses.
Yeah.
If GoldBOD has maybe bought the gold at, let's say, the official rate, I don't think we'll be having this conversation. But GoldBOD says, if I go and buy it at the official rate, I won't be able to get it there for you. They will smuggle the gold and all that. So I have to buy it. So I think, and you see, if it's your buying decision that led to the loss, you have to share the blame. That's why sometimes I'm also worried that why are they taking themselves off from the blame, because it was your buying decision that affected the selling decision. Are you getting it? So he should maybe, I think the conversation should be more of, he should accept that he played a role in the loss.
Exactly, because I was going to ask
going
you
forward. We need to find a better way of managing our buying decisions. You cannot take yourself out of the loss conversation.
Exactly.
Now you get it.
And then you just be celebrating the wins at the end of the day.
Exactly. No, you can't, because you are saying that because of your activities, the city has stabilized, it's appreciated.
Exactly.
But when it comes to loss, you are running out. You can't do that.
Yes.
You can't do that. Then what it means is that's why I said in 2025, I can't attribute anything to GoldBOD. It's not about their performance in terms of loss. So that's why I'm saying that the conversation should not be about profit or loss. If we get to that conversation, everybody will be wrong. Do you get it? In fact, even the Bank of Ghana playing that role is even, a quasi-fiscal activity they undertook, which they are not supposed to do that. So it's like if you just want to start from the genesis of the whole loss conversation. And what we need to understand that this is not the first time maybe they have made losses in this gold buying program since we started. They have been making it.
That's true.
And we feel it should be a responsibility of the fiscal side to add it to their loss than central bank taking that role.
I see. Very, very important things. John, just hold on for me. Let me announce the phone lines, because I was actually going to ask you that, is it possible, for GoldBOD to be financially healthy while the program that it was involved in generated a significant loss like we are seeing. And I'm asking that because to the ordinary listener, that sounds contradictory, because how can the agency be profitable when the program associated with it is losing money? And so it's good that you've given that particular clarity on that. Let me just announce the phone lines, and then we can continue the conversation. If you just tuned in, this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Nitra B. Hammond. And this morning, my guest is John Che. He's a financial analyst, and we're talking about the GoldBOD Bank of Ghana losses. And we're asking whether we are misjudging a strategic agency with accounting numbers. And so the conversation so far is that the whole thing shouldn't be about profit and loss. John is going to tell us what exactly it should be about very soon, but you can join the conversation if you want to do that. Please feel free, drop a comment under our live stream on Facebook at ZFMGH, and on YouTube we are at Z Multimedia. Please drop a comment there and I'll read all of that for you. Also, you can send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019 0544321019. I'd love to hear from you this morning. Feel free to also call us if you want on 030 39 56641 030 39 56641. Would love to hear from you and this morning, so feel free to call us right now. All right, John, let's come back to the conversation. So from what we're saying, you're saying that it shouldn't be about profit and loss. What should be the correct scorecard for an institution specifically like GoldBOD?
Yes, so for example, GoldBOD was created to perform certain responsibilities.
Yeah.
And one of them was to ensure that we have enough reserves that can shore up our currency in any day. And I think that objective, is near, we are seeing the fruit. We are seeing that objective is being achieved. So maybe the first question would be, have we, since GoldBOD was created, do we have enough? Are we accumulating enough reserves? Because it's one of their functions. 2, are we getting enough forex? You get it? Are we getting enough forex from GoldBOD activities? And as a result, if you look at now our import cover, which has increased significantly, now even the Ministry of Finance targeting, 15 months import cover. I think I've mentioned it earlier. That would be very impressive.
Yeah.
So because the point is that if we really want GoldBOD to show that, they are, maybe we want to treat them as a typical state-owned enterprise to be making profit, then what we need to do is that we need to allow them to issue their own bonds. Maybe we can decide that, okay, like the way companies like GCB, companies like GoldBOD, they are all state-owned, affiliated.
Yeah.
But they do their own things and, raise their capital, raise their bond shares and all that, finance themselves, and they are making it. So if you want to treat GoldBOD as a typical, and I don't think that was the objective. That's why I want to state it before I come to the other objectives. I don't think that was the objective. Okay, because we have GoldBOD and an act is regulating the things that they do, and there are specific functions that they are supposed to perform. So if maybe we want them to show, how well they are doing, whether they can trade by themselves, make their own decisions and all that, then we need to allow them to raise their own financing, right? So that, this whole losses conversation, Bank of Ghana, the Ministry of Finance giving them money, maybe then we have to, stop that and allow them. And I'm sure if GoldBOD is issuing shares now or raising bonds now, I think they will have the investors. I'm sure you can. So I'm I'm going to buy, because gold is very attractive investment. So I'm very sure it will encourage, it will push, put a lot of investors, including foreign investors, to invest in maybe the bond or the shares that they are trying to raise. But if you don't want to do that and want to make that a strategic agency to cater for our accumulation of reserves and also our forex needs, then we should not be too much concerned about the losses that they will be making. Because the point is that, you see, if As for the accumulation of reserves, always you have to be buying gold, whether price is high or low. And the way gold price swing, it will always affect the way you value the gold at the end, and it will create massive losses. Let me give you a typical example. Let's say gold started the year with $5,500, and assume that GoldBOD was buying reserves. Buying gold for Bank of Ghana, buying to export, and now the gold price has fallen to 4,000. That is a massive loss. Are you saying that because as for they shouldn't say, they should still be holding and then be buying more and holding and be buying more and holding? And at the end of the day, if they are buying more and holding because prices are falling, at what point can they show us their financials to say that they have made profit or loss? And how are you really going to value the assets and liabilities that they have?
Right.
So those things are going to make their whole operations a bit complex and complicated, and the objective of setting them up will not be achieved. So their scorecard should be: one, we have enough, forex, foreign exchange, we have enough, maybe, and you can see the trajectory. The import cover keeps increasing. The import cover keeps increasing. It gives an idea that, that road that we expected them to achieve, we are getting there. If you also see our reserves also increasing, then it means that, we are getting there. If you are also seeing the gold being like value addition to gold in our local, in this country, and we have even started exporting some to other countries and the rest, then you clearly see that GoldBOD is performing their functions. And if you see this illegal mining, they are streamlining mining to the extent that, the illegal mining is reduced. Because the point is that all these gains we are getting, there's also another cost, environmental cost, which is going to affect all of us, our health. So we are also paying with our life. So I don't know whether I should call it life cost or something. How do you value those things? So if we see that, because they said they are going to trace every gold purchase, so that if there's any galamsey anywhere, because we know that GoldBOD is mandated to ensure that, every gold bought, which they are the only people who can buy gold from small scale miners, are coming from a well-regulated mining areas that don't do illegal mining. So if we see that, now they said they are tracing every gold they buy, we realize that, they are performing that role, and we are seeing the activities of illegal miners dwindling, going down. Unlike the news that we are hearing, then we will see that indeed GoldBOD is achieving its objectives. And this should be the scorecard for them, not the accounting profit or losses. Because you see, for the accounting profit or losses, exchange rate differences, which is good for us when the city appreciates, can even make their matter worse, no matter how they sell the gold and bring in forex. If you translate to cities, it will still bring these losses that we are talking about.
I see. So you're telling us that we should look at foreign exchange.
Yes.
Maybe foreign exchange mobilization.
Yes.
All right. And then that'll definitely have to do with something around CD stability as well, isn't it?
Yes.
And
then reserve
accumulation.
accumulation. Yes.
Okay.
And then value addition to our gold products, not exporting them in their raw form, but we are seeing value added and we are exporting them to other countries. And then the last one is the illegal mining. I know you know the current state. You are in the media. You know the current state. It's deteriorating, and it's one of their functions to ensure that that aspect also reduces. But we are not seeing that. We're not asking them questions on why illegal mining is even being more rampant in recent days compared to 2024 and the rest.
All right, John, thank you very much. I think that would wrap up now. But you didn't mention anything about even government revenue. Could that be a scorecard as well?
No, you see, as for government revenue, except maybe government also want to charge something for financing maybe GoldBOD. So that's what I don't want to, because I think what they are really doing is not really, except maybe you can export the gold and then we get more, not exporting gold per se, but exporting the value added, and that is also bringing more revenue to us. So when we get to that level, then we can also bring in the government's revenue.
All right. So do you have any solutions as to how we can avoid some of those the losses that that has been incurred?
You see, the issue is this. You see, the way we recorded losses this last year, it will not happen this year. The very reason is that the exchange rate is very stable this year. What it means is that, you see, the losses are already recorded. So you end up this year, as far as you stabilize the city and you don't see another huge appreciation, which will not happen. I think their target is to keep it at 10.5. I'm not sure we will have massive losses this year. The losses is going to, and you see, and that's the very point I'm making, that we shouldn't make that conversation, because assuming that the year ends and the city has even depreciated small to, let's say, 11.5, you will see them recording huge profits. You see them recording about maybe $5 billion, 5 billion cedis profit. Are you going to say that profit means that now things are turning around and they are doing better, when maybe that profit will be coming from a small depreciation of the currency? I hope you are getting my question. Yeah. So, sorry. That's why I'm saying that the whole conversation, if we turn it into profit or loss conversation, I'm telling you this year, they are going to announce profits. They are going to announce massive profits coming from maybe GoldBOD and Bank of Ghana operations. So we need to, psych our mind that it's easy. That's why I want to push this point. That it's very easy for central bank to make profit from these GoldBOD operations. All that they need to do is to just make the cedi depreciate, and they will achieve their objective. Even for the cedi to depreciate by just 2 cedis, you will see the profit that they will make and announce that things have turned. But nothing has turned. It's just accounting adjustment that has turned. I hope you are getting it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, John, thank you very much for your time. Our time is up and we have to go now. I'm really grateful. I don't know if there's anything I haven't mentioned that you may want to just say finally, and then we go.
Yes, all right. So thank you so much for the opportunity. As I mentioned earlier from the start, let's move away from the counting profit or loss and conversation, and let's talk about the strategic importance of GoldBOD. It's helping all of us. It's stabilizing our currency. It's making our economy better. So let's be by partisan basis support it, and if they are doing anything untoward, we try to correct it. And I think that's the most important conversation we must have at this point.
All right, John, thank you very much. I'm really grateful. Please do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you too.
All right. Okay. So that was John Che. He's a financial analyst, and he joined us this morning talking about whether we are misjudging, in line with GoldBOD and Bank of Ghana losses, whether we are misjudging a strategic agency with accounting numbers. And the main point he's raised is that this shouldn't be about profit and loss. It should be really about the gains that we are getting at the end of the day. And so that is what he believes. Feel free, you can continue to engage us on our social media platforms, even as we are off here. On Facebook, we're at ZFMGH, and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. And if you miss any part of the conversation, you can head to our YouTube channel as well. We're at Z Multimedia on YouTube, and we'd love to, have you go check it out and then play back this conversation to make sense of it a bit more. But thank you very much for also staying with us right from 6:15 up until right from where we started up until now. And also thank you to John Che, my guest for today. He's a financial analyst, and we're grateful to you as well. We're back again tomorrow for some more interesting conversation. Tomorrow we have a marketing conversation coming up, so make sure that you stay tuned and you join us as well. But until then, keep listening to Z101.9 FM. My name is Nitrebi Hammond, and I'll see you tomorrow. Up next is The Brighter Side with Jeremy Okoria Marco. When you think Ghana, please stay.